Godzilla Jr. has survived some of the most interesting things in Godzilla the series. Even if you want to count the IDW comics version of Zilla, he survived some incredible things. From the military to, well, alien invasions. But today here, we're going to see if our giant green atomic lizard has what it takes today to survive one of the biggest mutant apocalypse known to man. X-Men Days of Futures Past. We're going to basically be placing him in the futuristic setting, if you will, where he has to fight against all these sentinels. And he won't be alone in this one. Him and his fellow mutations, C-Rex, King Cobra, Quetzalcoatl, and Cryptocleidos will be joining him for this one. So without further ado, let's begin. So what does this really entail here? What's the, synopsis behind this here? Well, the X-Men are looking to finally pretty much end it all. End this, whole Sentinel reign here. And throughout the years, they've been trying to move to Monster Island. And by the time we see the movie, they're basically heading there. It's during this time that they're greeted by, well, Zilla and the rest of these mutations here. They seem pretty hostile at first, but then Professor X is able to reach into Zilla's mind, reach into all their minds, and show them of pretty much what's the world become, without, with them also being in danger. You might say, is Zilla actually in danger? Well, in all honesty, yeah, he and the other mutants here are in danger. You see, Zilla actually counts as a mutant, as he's a mutated version of a marine iguana. So he's basically the mutant version of it, as are honestly, the rest of them. So how would these guys fare against the Sentinels? Well, first things first, we gotta talk about the Sentinels. These Sentinels are pretty much adaptable machines combined with Mystique's DNA. This gives them the ability to produce any counter towards their opponents. They've been able to use Iceman, cryomancy armor, and use Emma Frost diamond hard skin, and even making Colossus's osmium, which is impressive. But what about the mutations? Well, let's start off with C-Rex. C-Rex is obviously physically strong enough to knock around Zilla Jr. a lot here. But he has his own ability. He's able to secrete this black ink liquid that's incredibly sticky. And he's capable of actually draining the nutrition out of someone. Basically draining them completely dry of their nutrition. We then have King Cobra. King Cobra is the longest and actually much heavier than Godzilla. And due to his light build frame, he's actually capable of maneuvering around and wrapping himself around opponents. He's capable of squeezing the Mecha Kong and is even able to nearly crush Zilla, albeit Zilla has a lot more pressurized resistance. But King Cobra is able to secrete this venom-inducing, webbing, if you will, that's able to paralyze his prey. Then you have Cryptocleidos. Cryptocleidos is a mutated version of a Cryptocleidos, a ancient plesiosaur, right? So Cryptocleidos is actually capable of secreting a blue fire breath. Not as hot as Godzilla's, but it's hot enough and powerful enough to destroy alien spaceships, and even able to tag them, despite the fact those ships are capable of moving through space very casually. So if you guys really want to get into it, light speed, if you will. And Cryptocleidos is actually much more adapted to much more adapted to an aquatic life than Godzilla himself here. All right. Then you have Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is obviously the flyer of the group here. And she's actually ridiculously tough. Actually, was one of the few monsters that Zilla had to beat via help, actually. She actually has her own, chrono breath or her null ray breath, which is capable of actually, giving Zilla a little bit of a pause here. And yes, she will be having her babies in this one, as I think it would definitely be better if she kind of has that mama bear or mama bird, if you will, mentality. The fact that she's going to defend her 3 kids no matter what here. But yeah, she's also one of the faster monsters in the franchise. I definitely have to say he should be able to move faster than jets. And now we got the king, the man, the myth, the legend, Zilla. Zilla is actually ridiculously powerful. You can actually scale him from country to multi-continental, from the fact that he's been able to create his own warm front, and the fact that he's fought monsters that were confirmed to be able to drain the entire ocean. Like literally drain that and eat it all up. Yeah. He also has his atomic fire, which scales him as well. It also is able to fight again, also able to damage monsters that are immune to his physical means. Okay, so you can actually say it's like a durability bypass, if you will. He's also capable of burrowing into the ground, and is actually incredibly intelligent, able to plan out an attack when opponents least expect it, and come up with strategies. But let's talk about these Sentinels here. Now, these Sentinels are essentially a problem here. And we have actually seen them use other abilities in the movie. Deathstrike's claws, Ember Frost's diamond hard skin. They've been able to use energy beams that are pretty much natural to all of them. And even be able to create weapons naturally. It's actually pretty impressive here. So, with that being said here, do I think the mutants actually have a chance here? Well, altogether, yeah. I even think without the X-Men, they would have been fine and be able to pretty much defeat the Sentinels. But I feel like I needed the X-Men here because they are a part of this story, whether we like it or not. I mean, what, you think the military and Godzilla, the series, is going to have the technology to make Sentinels? No, just combine the two, okay? Plus, it's just more believable. Plus, with characters like Storm here, you could say she could actually put a barrier around the island, if you will. A kind of storm, if you will. And this is when the Sentinels come in and it actually, makes it much more, I wouldn't say much more difficult for them to get in, but it definitely gives them a hassle. And this means when they come in, it's basically, I guess you can honestly say it's a lot more dangerous. At least for them, anyway. Because now they not only have the numbers advantage here, the X-Men also have the environment advantage. They have a forest. They have, the beach here. They can use it to their advantage, and they can use it to even ambush Sentinels. Kind of do this guerrilla warfare while the kaiju are kind of taking most of the heat. Plus, if we do watch Days of Futures Past correctly during the final battle stage, the Sentinels warships or whatever actually took a good distance before launching all the Sentinels so that they wouldn't destroy all of them. And even then, it still wasn't enough here. But in this situation here, it's actually different. This actually works out perfectly because they have to go across the water in order to reach the island. That puts him in the same territory as Cryptoclytus. And due to his extreme agility and him being better than Zilla underwater, I would have to say he actually is the first. You could say he's the first line of defense. Plus, with Quetzalcoatl going into the air, King Cobra setting up any kind of net traps to trap the mutants, and C-Rex also possibly going into the water as well and blinding any Sentinels, leaving them open for Cryptoclytus, Magneto using any wreckage he could find, and so on and so forth. And then there's Zilla, the man himself, the beast himself. His atomic fire is simply just going to one-shot a lot of beings here. Now you might say, oh, well, but the X-Men could have one-shot them in the movie. Why does Zilla deserve to one-shot him? Because he has a higher AP difference. The max I could give the X-Men in that movie or in this franchise is around City, and some of them are Planet Busters. Okay? For example, Phoenix, Jean, and I would have to say Magneto and Apocalypse. But we have to understand why Magneto couldn't beat these Sentinels, right? They didn't have an ounce of metal in them. They were all made out of a carbon fiber. They were all made out of like some carbon fiber or whatever. Plus, I like to know another asset to the team, and that'll be Blink. Her opening portals and allowing for, others to kind of just, I guess you could say, kind of just get their attacks out, if you will. And then if she opens a portal in front of Zilla, that pretty much just hits the warship in general. That kind of deletes the number of Sentinels. So in all honesty, yeah, I think with the kaiju on their side, I think the X-Men have a much greater chance at pretty much saving the future here, because they can actually hold up and get this done with Wolverine. Yes, the reason why Logan took longer is because he went further back in time. Plus, with proper restraints, proper, leverage, they would be able to keep Wolverine pretty much there. Plus, this also means Kitty can get proper medical attention, because the X-Men wouldn't actually, they would have a lot more people there. This means with the mutants and the mutations, I'm going to call them mutations here, they would actually be able to put up a much more substantial fight and have a much more solid ground to get things done here. So in all honesty, do I think the mutations survive everything these Sentinels can throw at them? Yes. Do I think that this would definitely go differently in the actually from a story perspective? Yes, I think it would. Because if they find out that, if the X-Men and the government both found out these mutations or these, kaiju-like mutants exist, yes, I do think the Sentinels would have been born earlier. However, I do think the X-Men would probably move towards that island and find a way to live peacefully over there with these mutant kaiju, giving them their space while the X-Men live probably in like a mountain or in the volcano area and just find a way to make it dormant. It's not impossible for them. These guys have the technology and the mutant power in order to do something like that. So this would help them pretty much be a force to be reckoned with. As for what happens onward, I really don't know. But at the end of the day, do I think these kaiju mutants would survive? Yes. Do I think they would survive without the X-Men? Yes. But I will tell you this, it'd be a lot sadder for the world if they didn't have those X-Men. But anyway, that's going to be all for today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.